The year is 2025. A feeling of unease hangs in the air. We see it in the headlines flashing across our screens. People from all walks of life, from every corner of the globe, are looking at our world and asking the same whispered question: are we living in the end times? One of the most powerful and consistent signs spoken of in prophecy is that of wars and rumors of wars. Nations rising against nations, kingdoms against kingdoms. When we turn on the news in 2025, this ancient description feels unnervingly contemporary. The nature of warfare itself has changed, becoming more complex and pervasive, where a nation's critical infrastructure can be crippled with the click of a mouse. The conflicts of our time have global repercussions. The war that began in Eastern Europe in the early 2020s continues to send shockwaves. In the South China Sea, naval vessels patrol with increasing aggression, where larger nations fuel local disputes for their own strategic gain. The presence of thousands of nuclear warheads serves as a constant, terrifying reminder. A single misunderstanding, a single miscalculation, could unleash devastation on a scale never before seen. This constant, low-level hum of global conflict is precisely what the ancient texts warned us to watch for. Yet, it is important to remember that humanity has always known war. So, what makes today different? Many believe it is the scale, the interconnectedness, and the sheer destructive potential. It feels like a grand story whose plot has suddenly taken a dramatic turn. Many are turning to ancient prophecies, searching for a map through turbulence. The idea of end times isn't about a date. It's about recognizing a pattern of signs. These are interconnected threads weaving a larger tapestry. These signs feel like birth pangs, signaling something new being born. We'll examine 7 of these signs through the lens of 2025. We'll journey from battlefields of modern conflicts to the heart of technological innovation, from the shifting sands of the Middle East to the very stars above our heads. This is not an exercise in fear, but one of awareness. Let us begin this journey together, with open minds and steady hearts. Prophecies have long foretold a time when the earth itself would begin to groan. Famines, pestilences, earthquakes. In 2025, it feels as though we are living through the very fulfillment of these words. The rhythm of our planet seems to have changed. Natural disasters are no longer rare, shocking events. They have become a relentless part of our news cycle. The headlines are filled with stories of unprecedented weather events. We saw the Pine Ridge megafire in North America, which burned for months in Southeast Asia. A series of typhoons, stronger than any previously recorded Europe, once known for its mild climate, has been battling record-breaking heat waves. These are not isolated incidents, but part of a clear and accelerating global pattern. The Earth seems to be crying out, and its cries are growing louder. Earthquakes continue to shake vulnerable regions with terrifying regularity. At the same time, we are facing new and resurgent diseases. The global pandemic of the early 2020s was a wake-up call reminding us of our own biological fragility in a deeply interconnected world. Many scientists attribute these changes to climate change, a consequence of human activity. But for those who look through the lens of prophecy, they see it as the mechanism through which the ancient warnings are coming to pass, a world experiencing convulsions on a scale that aligns with the descriptions of the end times. The increase in frequency and intensity of these birth pangs is a powerful sign many find impossible to ignore, suggesting that our world is in a state of profound and painful transition. For thousands of years, the city of Jerusalem and the nation of Israel have been at the center of world history and biblical prophecy. The scriptures state that in the last days, this region would once again become a focus of intense international conflict. Looking at the Middle East in 2025, it is impossible to deny the profound truth of this observation. The region remains a powder keg, a complex web of ancient animosities, modern politics, and deep-seated religious convictions. Israel, a nation reborn in the 20th century, finds itself surrounded by neighbors who remain hostile to its very existence. The peace that exists is fragile, and the potential for major conflict is ever present. At the heart of it all is the city of Jerusalem, a holy site for Judaism, Islam, and Christianity. The struggle for control over its sacred places, particularly the Temple Mount, is a constant source of friction. The push by some groups within Israel to rebuild a third temple is seen by the Muslim world as an unthinkable provocation. This single location holds the potential to spark a conflict that could draw in nations from across the globe. In 2025, the political landscape surrounding Israel is more complex than ever. Nations are forming new alliances, driven by shared interests and common enemies. We see nations like Iran and its proxies continuing to vow for Israel's destruction. In response, unlikely partnerships are forming between Israel and some of its Arab neighbors. This diplomatic maneuvering is exactly the kind of dividing of the land and forming of end-times coalitions. The world's attention is undeniably fixed on this tiny strip of land. The phrase peace and security is often spoken by world leaders in relation to the Middle East, yet true peace remains elusive. Every diplomatic effort seems to be temporary, a brief pause before tensions flare once more. The world holds its breath, watching and waiting for the next tremor from this historic epicenter. Ancient prophecies speak of a future time when a global system could emerge capable of monitoring and controlling every person on Earth. A time when no one could buy or sell without a specific mark or identification. For centuries, this concept seemed like pure fantasy. But in 2025, we are living in a world where the framework for such a system is rapidly being built. The explosion of artificial intelligence and biometric identification has created unprecedented capacity for surveillance. Our smartphones are sophisticated tracking devices that record our location, purchases, conversations, interests. Social media platforms compile vast digital dossiers on each of us. Using artificial intelligence facial recognition systems are now commonplace, used in airports, public spaces, and even to unlock our phones. We are moving towards a world where our face, our fingerprints, or even the iris of our eye becomes our primary identification. Alongside this, there is a global push towards a cashless society. Digital currencies and centralized banking systems create a mechanism where every single transaction can be tracked, traced, and if deemed necessary, blocked. The idea of being unable to buy or sell without being part of the system is no longer far-fetched prophecy. This convergence of surveillance, biometrics, and digital currency is creating infrastructure for unprecedented control. While these technologies are introduced under the banner of safety, security, and convenience, they hold the potential for immense misuse in the hands of a totalitarian regime. They could be used to enforce conformity and suppress dissent on a global scale. The speed at which this all-seeing eye of technology has been constructed and embraced is, for many, a chilling sign that we are rapidly approaching the world described in prophetic warnings of a final global system of control. Another sign often associated with the end times is a significant decay in society's moral and ethical foundations. Scriptures describe people becoming lovers of themselves, lovers of money, boastful, proud, disobedient. A time when what was once considered wrong would be called right, and what was right would be called wrong. Looking at 2025, many feel disoriented, as if the moral compass that once guided society has been broken. Traditional values about family, integrity, and community seem to be eroding, replaced by a radical focus on individual desires and self-gratification. We see this shift in how society defines truth. The very concept of objective truth is now often challenged, replaced by the idea that each person's truth is equally valid. This leads to widespread confusion and division, no shared foundation for consensus or moral judgment. Moral relativism permeates our media, our educational institutions, public discourse. Conversations about right and wrong become difficult or impossible. Society splinters into countless factions, each with its own values and version of reality. This cultural shift comes with a rise in false teachings and spiritual deception. In an age of information overload, 1,000 voices compete for attention. New Age spiritualities, self-help philosophies, distorted versions of traditional faiths. These teachings often sound appealing, promising power, prosperity, freedom from rules. But they pull people away from foundational principles: humility, service, accountability. The Bible warns that in the last days many will be deceived by appealing but empty philosophies. When society loses a shared moral framework, it becomes unstable and vulnerable to chaos. For those who study prophecy, this widespread departure from traditional values is a clear sign we are living in the perilous times foretold. Amidst the many troubling signs, there is one that shines with remarkable light of hope. The Bible makes a specific prediction. Before the end comes, the gospel will be preached to all nations. For most of human history, this seemed like an impossible task. Yet, in 2025, we are witnessing the near fulfillment of this very prophecy. Modern technology has acted as an unprecedented catalyst for this global dissemination. The internet, satellite radio, and social media have shattered geographical and political barriers. A sermon preached in America can be watched live by someone in a closed country in Asia. The Bible, translated into thousands of languages, is available for free on smartphones Christian ministries are using. YouTube, TikTok, Instagram to share messages of hope and faith. The Global South, Africa, Asia, Latin America, is now the vibrant heartland of the Christian faith. We see incredible stories of church growth in countries like China and Iran, where believers meet in secret, the dedication of missionaries working to translate scriptures and plant churches in unreached people groups. We are living in the first generation in history that has the real ability to fulfill this prophecy. It suggests that the story is indeed reaching its promised conclusion. While other signs point to darkness, this one points to a divine work that continues to advance, unstoppable. Since the dawn of time, humanity has looked to the heavens for meaning, seeing signs in the movements of the sun, moon, stars. Ancient prophecies, including the Bible, speak of a time when there will be signs in the heavens that will cause people to look up in wonder and concern. In recent years, and particularly as we stand in 2025, we have witnessed remarkable astronomical events that have captured the world's attention. While science can explain the mechanics, their timing feels like more than just coincidence. One of the most talked about phenomena has been the series of blood moons on key Jewish feast days. A blood moon happens when Earth passes between the sun and moon, casting a shadow. The Bible speaks of the moon turning to blood before the great and terrible day of the Lord, the great American eclipse of 2017, and the one that followed in 2024 created a massive X pattern across the United States. The paths crossed over a region in southern Illinois nicknamed Little Egypt. Then, in early 2025, the world was captivated by an exceptionally bright comet. Throughout history, comets have been seen as omens and messengers. Astronomers point out that eclipses, blood moons, comets are part of normal celestial clockwork. The prophetic perspective asks us to consider the timing, frequency, and specific locations. It is as if the universe itself is providing a backdrop, a grand celestial stage for the final acts of this present age, urging humanity to lift its gaze from earthly troubles and consider the bigger picture. We have journeyed through 7 powerful signs, from the conflicts on our planet to the signs in our heavens. Together, these signs paint a picture of our world in 2025, consistent with ancient prophecies. These signs were never meant to incite panic or fill our hearts with fear. Instead, these signs are guidance, like celestial road signs telling us our destination is drawing near. A call to wake from slumber, pay attention, lift our heads. Don't build bunkers, build bridges. Live with greater purpose, kindness, urgency. Focus on what matters: love, forgiveness, faith. World turmoil reminds us we need an anchor beyond this world, a steadfast hope through storms. Whether these are the final moments is yours to conclude. The evidence is laid out. The verdict is yours. Even if the night grows darker, Scripture says it's darkest before dawn. The dawn promises light, restoration, lasting peace. What do you think? Are we in the last days? Comment below and subscribe.